Yo, 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 what's happening, my cool dude? How we doing tonight?
Really? You think I'm a cool dude? I'm so happy.
I got the right person right. This is Repertoire 2, right?
No,
Oh, this is awkward.
it's Brandon.
Oh, yeah. He's a cool dude, too.
Yeah, a lot cooler than that Mike guy.
I was like, what's the funnier joke? Is it agreeing with you or being like, oh, Brandon? Oh, no one wants to be that guy.
That would have been funny. That I would have thought that'd be funny. and when Brandon listens to the podcast, he's like, "Those guys are mean to me."
The button. Let's begin. Here we go. Number one gaming podcast in the world. Forget about all those other gaming podcasts that just are like, we're getting old. We can't do this anymore, guys. We got to call it quits. It's been almost 11, 12 years covering video games. I had enough. Well, guess what?
What were you gonna say? I heard there was an R in there. Number one video game pronging. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
I said podcast.
I know, but I heard an R. I heard an R in there, Corey.
I have been... The second I got home, I've just been hustle because I had a lot to do.
Yeah, I've been pretty tired from work, so maybe I'm just delirious. It's very possible.
I got my white wine here. I'm ready to podcast and I guess drink this.
I got my non-alcoholic soda.
Oh, I feel the Karen flowing through me. That's at least who I picture drinking this white wine.
Yeah. Where's your manager?
Can I get extra whipped cream on this and a discount?
Why is the 10 items or less line so long? That person has 11 items.
I know this 10% discount coupon is from 30 years ago, but you guys gotta keep it or make it good. I had one sip of the wine. I can't speak.
God, man, your tolerance is low. You gotta drink more. You gotta drink more wine.
Or maybe it's just the fact that I normally can't speak.
That's my problem usually.
Listeners who watch my live streams are pretty familiar with that. Oh gosh, I feel like I just had something I wanted to bring up, but maybe my brain will jolt it back. But we'll just start here. Happy Mother's Day to all you lovely mothers out there. Hope you had a good one. Mother Brain. Mother the game. You know, Terry Crews was just talking about that last week.
So many mothers out there. Like, Samus is the mother, you know, because the Metroid is the baby. Oh, that's right. You don't know that part yet. I'm spoiling Metroid for you. We haven't gotten that far yet. God.
A big MILF fan.
Me too.
Man, I love frogs. Did I already use that joke? I might have made that last podcast.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Because as a meme, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Here we go. Number one gaming podcast, reusing jokes. Meatball pizza.
It's funny that you brought that up because I was going to talk about that at the end of the podcast. The MILF thing, not the frog thing.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll bookmark that. We'll keep that for later.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I won't forget. Every time I'll try not to forget. Now I have MILFs on the brain.
Speaking of MILFs, I should probably talk about my Mother's Day with my mama and my grandmama.
That was a horrible transition, Corey. Anyway, yeah, it's Mother's Day.
I have to classify this as a very meh Mother's Day. I feel really bad. I don't know why, but this year I just like completely dropped the ball, and it felt like Mother's Day just like came up on me so quickly, and like I really didn't have a lot of time to like get reservations at like a nice restaurant. And me and my sister were kind of like ping-ponging ideas back and forth, like, oh, what do we got to figure something out. It's like only a few more days till Mother's Day. I don't know why we just did it so last minute. And I was also like busy with other stuff last week, just, you know, adulting and other things around my apartment. But yeah, I very hastily ended up making reservations at this restaurant in Hershey. Of course, I went to Hershey. I always go to Hershey. But this time, I actually went to a restaurant in Hershey that I very much did not like. And I'm just going to say it right now, folks. I'm about to crap on a restaurant in Hershey. It was
Oh, man.
I had a horrible experience. I'm going to name drop. It's called The Harvest in Hershey. It's located at the Hershey Hotel. It's like a off-site restaurant. And I've been to this restaurant before in the past. Not recently. It has been a few years since I've been here. But generally, the gist of this restaurant is like, oh, we get all our ingredients like locally sourced. So they'd get like vegetables and produce from like Lancaster County or like other areas of Pennsylvania. And they use all these ingredients and they're all like very fresh and they're all from local farms. And with that, their menu would sometimes constantly change because they're always getting different things. I love that kind of stuff. I think eating the fresh food is really good. And I also like a diverse menu. I think it was a lot of fun. However, like I said, it's been a few years since I went there before. And right away, I noticed the menu's different, which isn't that big of a deal. You know, every restaurant goes through like a transition here or there, changing up the menu, adding new items, maybe removing some fan favorites. It's okay. I'm usually not too picky. I turned to the back where the entrees were located, and we're looking at all the items. They're mostly listed as like the main things you're going to get, you know, like a grilled salmon fillet, a prime rib, like a rotisserie chicken or something like that, or like a half chicken. And I see this. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this salmon. That sounds good. And it's $28. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to assume that like comes with something. And me and my family were kind of like talking about that too, because we're like, why are like some of the prices on these like meats seem so expensive? Like, do they even come with anything? And actually, the waiter did let us know that, no, you're actually just paying for, like, the food, like, the actual, like, meat, and then you have to pay, like, piecemeal for the sides. And granted, you know, some restaurant, like, really fancy restaurants do that. This is not a very fancy restaurant. I'd say this is, like, a middle-of-the-range restaurant. So I was already, like, kind of shocked that they did that, and they didn't do that previously. Before, you would get your plate of your protein, your like starch and your vegetable or what have you. So, you know, I guess a little egg on my face because I did order this $28 salmon fillet and the waiter did say, do you want any sides? And I said no, because I just thought that it was going to be a big piece of salmon for $28 and B, it was actually going to come with like at least something else. But out comes my mom and my grandma's food and my sister's. And then comes my plate of literally just a very basic sized portion, maybe like a 4 or 5 ounce fillet of grilled salmon with a little hollandaise sauce. And I think there was like watercress or some sort of like leafy garnish. And it was just so ridiculous. Like the small amount of food I got for $28.
Jesus. Oh my God.
And to be quite honest with you, I made grilled salmon like a week or two ago. I think mine was a little bit better than what I had.
That's disappointing because like I mean, this is obviously like nothing new to anybody. But when you go to a restaurant, you're not just paying for the convenience of having someone else cook your food. Like you do expect some kind of quality, you know, and not like at a fast food place. But if you're sitting down, even as you said, like a middle of the road restaurant, you want the food to be at least somewhat better than at least comparable to what your own home cooking is, you know?
And like I agree. And like I mentioned before, like I've been here before. I knew it wasn't like very fancy, but it was always like really fresh because they got all the local ingredients. And, you know, you usually get a plate with some sort of sides. You don't have to pay them a la carte. Literally the sides, I believe, were all like about $7 or $8 each. Who knows how big a portion you get? Like one was like roasted broccoli, and I kept making the joke. Like I bet if I would have ordered that, I would have got like, yeah, one broccoli floret, like not even that big, you know? So I was very upset about this whole experience. And honestly, like, it kind of became like the talking point of the whole Mother's Day. It did bum me out, but I wasn't like upset at anyone about it. I was just like kind of almost upset at myself because I was like, well, I almost put myself in this predicament, not just for ordering it and the waiter even telling me that I have to get sides if I want sides. But like I said, it was kind of last minute. Like I just was like, oh, we'll go here. I remember this place being good. And unfortunately, it just went completely downhill. So I will not be returning to the Harvest at Hershey for a while unless they change their menu or something like that. I know this podcast only has like 10 listeners, so at the end of the day, who's really going to hear this? No one's going to care that me, Game Bro Corey, isn't going there anymore. I'm just shocked, though, because I generally don't have very bad dining experiences. And I did just think it was ridiculous. Like, I kept, like, talking with my family and other coworkers, and I'm just like, they really can't, like, afford to just put a scoop of, like, rice or, like, just a tiny amount of, like, vegetables on the plate. Like, it just was blowing my mind. And, like, the only thing that we could really think could cause something like this is maybe due to the pandemic. Like, maybe they were trying to get more of their costs back that they lost from maybe last year. We don't know. But after that experience, I also felt a little bit bad because even my family, they were starting to talk about, like, they enjoyed their meals, but they also were kind of being like, you know what, like, honestly, that place wasn't as good as it used to be. And that kind of made me feel a little bit bad because, again, I felt like I dropped the ball. Like, I had, like, honestly, like 4 or 5 other restaurant ideas too, but I feel like I just called the Harvest, and right away they're like, oh yeah, we have tons of reservations. It looks like I found out why. But I was just like, okay, yeah, we'll do this right away. And I was like, oh, I really wish I picked another restaurant behind site, whatever.
Yeah, but that's not your fault. Like, you couldn't have predicted that it would have been that kind of an experience where, like, the portion sizes were terrible and the size were included, especially if you've been there before and that wasn't the case. So I don't want you to say you dropped the ball. It's just, you now for next time you're not returning there.
Absolutely.
And and that speaks volumes to a place like that. Like when an establishment like starts to lose their customer like foundation, like, it'll raise a few eyebrows, and they'll say, okay, we're doing something wrong here. Maybe we should start throwing in some free sides, or just like they probably won't reduce their costs, because I think right now everything's going up in price. Like, there's a little bit of inflation going on, but you think they could at least throw in, like you said, like a small side of something, or at least a vegetable with your entree.
Also, this one's just for me, but I've talked before about how I've had issues with getting, like, Eggs Benedict and Hershey, but weirdly enough, something that came with the salmon was like a hollandaise sauce. And that just, like, triggered this thing in my head where I'm like, this curse is real. Like, I just can't get, like, anything with, like, hollandaise sauce, I guess, in Hershey, because my food is not going to be that good. I've never seen that, by the way. I've never seen hollandaise sauce with salmon. That was weird.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever heard of that either, but I don't know. I don't really order salmon or fish that much, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that knowledgeable anyway.
Other than that, though, I don't think I have anything else notable to say. Oh, I kind of going back to what I was saying about, like, dropping the ball, though. I also felt bad because I did really want to do something with, like, I call her my mother-in-law, but it's basically like Megan's mom. We didn't really end up getting her.
It's your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
It's anything.
We didn't really get to do anything with her, and I felt kind of bad. Megan has been very busy. She's, like, working, like, 2 jobs right now, and honestly, we're about to go on a vacation next week, so she's, like, pretty much been working, like, both jobs every day, so she's honestly been very tired and very worn out as well, which is kind of why I've been a little bit busy at the apartment more, because I've been kind of, like, trying to keep up with everything here. But yeah, I just felt a little bit bad that we didn't really get to do anything for her. Obviously, I did get, like, all my moms some cards, and I wanted to make sure I spent a little bit of time with them and got to talk with them and hang out with them. I don't know. I told them, I'm like, you know what? This wasn't that great. Mother's Day 2022, it's going to be wild. Going to blow their balls off, figuratively.
There's always next year, Corey, when the second pandemic hits.
Oh, no. Is that a threat? Are you working on COVID 22, 21?
Maybe.
That's really all I got, though. I really didn't do too much else. Just played video games and relaxed. You got anything you want to add before we start this podcast officially?
Sure. Well, I'll definitely say that it must be nice to play video games. I didn't have a chance to do it this week, and I was a little bummed. Like, I just had I would definitely say one of the more stressful weeks of my life as far as work goes. Like, I mean, I was happy that I was able to do the podcast last week with you, but, like, yeah, like, it was just a really rough week. I mean, I'll end my talk with at least the positives of Mother's Day, but before that, Yeah, like today. Well, actually, today was like the end of my little like spike in workload where I had to just get basically the one of the other departments that I work with. They made a mistake, and so it forced the engineering department and mainly me because I work for this other department, or more like I'm the engineering guy that supports this other department. So I basically had to. They kind of not to make it sound boring. I just had to do a whole bunch of maintenance work so that way they could push this paperwork through by this upcoming Friday. Now, my company had like a longer deadline. Like we had like months to get this done, but then they realized, oh no, wait, I'm sorry, it's actually due this Friday. Like what is that, the 16th or whatever? No, the 14th.
Yep.
And so we're just like, oh, well then this is like literally an impossible task. So we just had to make all of these like, you know, all these accommodations, all of these concessions, and we had to, you know, obviously like, you know, just do some shortcuts just to make this like a completable thing by this upcoming Friday. And the main thing is, I had to get all this maintenance work done just so that way they could push the paperwork to say yes, this was all done. And that paperwork, you know, is like ordinary bureaucracy where like it just takes time to get the paperwork done. It doesn't just happen, you know. So they basically said I had to get all my this was on Thursday. They said you have to get your work done by like this Tuesday to at least make it possible for the paperwork to get done by Friday. And so I scrambled. I got all the stuff done. I got everything organized so that way over the weekend they can at least try to get some stuff done. And they got some stuff done, but then yesterday and today it was just like me and some of the mechanics just going into overdrive, and we finally got all the work done. Ooh. But with that being said, so it was pretty rough all week. And also, like, I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail, but like, there's also other things where I'm covering for people and I'm doing other, you know, just like that's just what my job is. I'm kind of just like whatever they need me to do, I do it. You know. The engineering department that I'm in, they don't like that they're doing this to me. But I mean, to me, it's whatever. They're the ones who are writing my checks in a way, so it's like whatever. I'll just do it. But unfortunately, that definitely caused me to work late all week, and even like the last 2 days, like it just, you know, a lot of late hours. So I kind of just came home and spent time with Amanda. So I didn't really get a chance to really do too much. I haven't even made like a video for my channel, the Collector's Vault. I haven't had time to make a video in like the last like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm really bummed because work's just been so busy. I mean, I'm happy I've been able to, like, you know, play some games here and there, like with you, Corey, you know, and I guess technically I did play some games on Saturday with you, but like, you know, so we got to play a little bit for level with me, but I haven't had a chance to do anything for the Collector's Vault, and I've been a little bit bummed about that. But anyway. Besides all that, yeah, my weekend did end with a nice little Mother's Day. So, you know, spent time with Amanda's mom in the morning, and then I went to go. I drove back up to my my hometown to visit my mother and my stepmother, and it was very nice. You know, just like a nice little Mother's Day. Just, you know, I got them all some nice little gifts, like, you know, like little gift cards and actual, like, you know, cards and flowers. So it was very nice. And I know that they really appreciated it. And then, yeah, Saturday we played some stuff, but again, we'll talk about that later. And yeah, that was my week. But yeah, that was my week. Just pretty. I mean, you know, besides Mother's Day and besides playing games with you, it's been pretty uneventful, unfortunately.
Hey, I mean, that sometimes happens.
It is, yeah. I mean, like, I hate to be the guy who whines, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it was just one of those weeks. So it is what it is.
Well, I mean, I'll share this, Mike. I don't know if everything like this is related due to the pandemic and maybe like businesses starting to come back up, but my company has also been having overtime for quite a few months now. They even have, like, you can work an additional like 2 hours in the beginning of your shift or at the end of your shift. I haven't taken part in that because I'm generally pretty busy as is, but they're still doing that. And, like, you know, we've had some weekends of just overtime on Saturdays. Luckily, sometimes we've had full weeks of work, like Sunday or Saturday to Sunday or whatever, like both days, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, like, maybe that is just because business is starting to pick up with all these things now that the pandemic is starting to wind down a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, especially like in my situation, it's definitely because of the pandemic. It actually forced. I think I mentioned this before, but I don't want to go into too much detail and bore the listeners. But because of the pandemic, it definitely is the reason why I'm in this position, because they basically had to start up this department in the pharmaceutical company. So that's why it's been like, okay, like get this thing up and running ASAP, because of COVID. So that's kind of like why it was such a high priority. And it's been a pain in the neck ever since October when I had to help out. Ugh.
It's okay.
Luckily, what's up?
Let me tantalize you with again a vacation I have upcoming next week. I'll be in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, and there will be a podcast. Don't y'all worry. We're not gonna have a slip up like last time. Hopefully there'll be Wi-Fi. I guess I don't know.
I'm just hoping you don't have cockroaches in the house again.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, we're going to a different rental, so I don't think we're gonna have that issue.
Just tell your mom to get the waterworks going, and then they'll put you in a nicer place.
Oh, oh my God! Wow, my memory is blanking. I just forget my other point. Oh, who cares? Let's start the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Level With Me podcast, episode 94. I am one of your hosts, Game Bro Corey, and I'm joined here by my co-host Mike, aka the Collector's Vault. How you doing, Mike?
Doing pretty good, Corey. If a little exhausted, but sorry, I got to take a sip of my non-alcoholic soda again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Level With Me. It is a rather dreary day here in the southern land of Philadelphia. How are things up there in the mountains, Corey?
There's 6 bears in my backyard. Typical stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you feed them, or do they, just steal your picnic baskets?
Sometimes I'll feed them. Sometimes I'm like, hey, yo, you guys want to play a quick set of Smash, and they'll come in, they'll join me. They're pretty good. They make Banjo-Kazooie, obviously.
Gosh, you took my joke, but it makes sense. I'm glad you said that.
The weather's been pretty good up here. Can't complain. It's like mid-60s, cloudy, some rain here or there. Just chilling.
Yeah, it sounds pretty typical.
Oh, and I actually did just remember what I was gonna say when I'm like, oh, I forgot. Let's start. Oh. I was going to say, this Friday, I'm also off, and me and Megan, to prepare for a vacation, are going to get a mani-pedi, get our nails did.
Ooh, what color are you going for?
I'm going to go with a nice shade of green to match my eyes.
Man. See, I wish I had green eyes.
I'm also getting the pedicure, the pedicure is the foot one. I always get those confused. But I'm getting the pedicure where the fish eat the dead skin off the bottom of your foot. Because
it's weird.
I'm giving back to the environment, I'm getting those Mother Nature skill or brownie points, whatever.
Yeah. Hey, fish gotta eat too. Or algae eaters.
Happy Mother Nature Day.
You know what's sad about my fingernails, or my eyes, I should say?
Go for it.
They're fingernail colored. So when I get my mani-pedi, it's very disappointing. That was the worst trick I've ever made in my entire life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all day.
Oh, man. I love it.
I think that's probably the first time in history that has ever been said. It has to be.
That's ridiculous. Okay. Speaking of ridiculous, here we are on the #1 video game podcast in the world, Level With Me. We're going to start things off right and proper with some video game news. Here's the most video game news for y'all, folks. A massive Chinese rocket will soon be making an uncontrolled plummet back to Earth. Did you hear about this? I actually just learned about this a few days ago.
Well, seeing as how I always am aware of the video game news, of course I've heard about this Chinese rocket.
But yeah,
no, I have not heard of this.
I guess China launched a rocket unbeknownst to anyone, And then they're just like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's gonna just like crash land. And they're like, we hope it'll land somewhere in the ocean because most of the planet is ocean. And apparently,
sorry, America, but we launched a rocket, not a missile, a rocket by accident. It might land somewhere in your country. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And yeah, I believe it. Yeah, 98 feet long, weighs 21 metric tons. I just think it's so crazy to me. It doesn't even have anything to do with that. It's China, but like they just like did this. Like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's just gonna fall down. It literally could have hit any country.
I can only imagine like
even landed where it came from and like destroyed the whole launching facility in China. Like, I can't believe this is a thing. Like, this is ridiculous.
I can only imagine like what happened when like what like the people at like the launch base were saying when they're just like, whoops, it just launches.
They just hit the button to launch it, and there was the spectacle, and then they're like, hey, do you guys realize that we don't know where this thing's gonna land? And they're like, what?
Oh, don't worry, that's America's problem now. Oh man, that's terrible.
Seeing as China's the biggest. Wait, is Russia the biggest country?
They're the biggest country. China has the biggest population.
Okay, because I was gonna say America it's not that big compared to all the other pieces of.
We are number
on this rock.
I think we're number 4. I think in size. It goes Russia, then Canada, believe it or not, but I guess that is pretty believable. And then wait, no, I'm sorry. We're number 4. I think it's Russia, Canada. Maybe China in size? I forget. Anyway, but yeah, don't worry. It's good. Mathematically speaking, it's gonna land somewhere in Canada before it hits us.
I'm just glad that China's giving back to the environment. All the fish can eat the pieces of rocket debris that landed in the ocean.
Yeah, the radioactive waste.
They can drink all the fuel and the fumes. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Man, I'm getting reminded of Subnautica.
They'll look like those fish. Wasn't there like that one fish? I don't know if it was The Simpsons or Futurama, but it has like 3 eyes.
Blinky?
There you go, sure.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I don't know the reference, but it's in my head.
That's Blinky.
All right, folks. We actually have video game news because this is the #1 video game podcast in the world. First off, we're going to start off with everyone's favorite, EA. EA Play Live Showcase coming in July. EA Play Live, the developers' summer showcase, will return this year on July 22nd. While EA hasn't formally announced any plans for the show, it feels like to be an all-digital event in the vein of E3 2021 and Gamescom 2021. This really shouldn't be shocking to anyone. I mean, E3 is going to happen as essentially an online event, and we're probably going to see a bunch of like companies kind of mimic this sort of thing. I'm sure there will be a state of play around the same time, showing off a bunch of cool games you can get on your PlayStation 5, even though you can't get a PlayStation 5. But yeah. Do they have any predictions here? So they're saying, we could perhaps see some more Dragon Age 4, which is definitely a possibility. That should be wrapping up soon. Skate 4. I don't know if we'll see that. That seems like maybe that's a big maybe, because they only announced that like a year or 2 ago. I was going to add this, but they are talking about the new Battlefield game that'll probably be coming out sometime this holiday season, so I'm sure they're going to show off a bunch of that. And I forgot EA. Well, actually no, EA doesn't have the Star Wars license anymore. I'm sure they're making another Star Wars game or 2, but yeah. Cool. That's there. EA will be at E3, but not really.
I can dig it.
E3, EA 3A. We did it. All right, moving on.
EA 3.
Moving right along to PlayStation. We got some Sony news. PSVR 2 reportedly includes 4K display, eye tracking, and haptic feedback. PSVR 2 will reportedly include a 4K display, eye tracking, haptic feedback, and more, according to a newly published report. Upload VR cites multiple reliable sources on the matter who say that Sony has shared details with its partners about these PSVR 2 features. The report suggests that the new revision of the headset could feature a 4,000 by 2040 pixels resolution, gaze tracking, and a lens separation adjustment detail, a feature that can be seen on the Valve Index headset. The 4K resolution would be a big step up from the original PSVR, which featured a 960 by 1080 pixels per eye, and a small step up on the popular Oculus Quest 2 headsets, 1832 by 1920 per eye. Eye tracking within the headset will allow the oh boy, that's a new word. Foveated? You seen this?
I'm not even going to try.
Foveated rendering. I've never heard of that. A technique that allows VR experiences to reduce the quality of rendering in players' peripheral vision, essentially allowing for developers to increase the quality of what players actually see. So I'm not a big VR guy personally, but, you know, these are all cool details. I think it's pretty neat to hear that there's potentially going to be like 4K in these screens for your eyes. I mean, to me, that seems like a little scary. I don't know if your eyes should be that close to those screens, but I guess at the end of the day, that just means that the vision, it'll be more clearer, so to say, so maybe it'll be more immersive when you're playing a VR experience.
Yeah.
As well as eye tracking and haptic feedback, that's all good stuff. I'm not too familiar with VR technology. I haven't really had a lot of experience with it, but I think this is cool. And I'm still happy to see that Sony is like continuing to support this. Because it was for a while there, like, are they making another PSVR? Did that thing do well? But yeah, seems all hunky-dory. Cool new details. I'm sure we'll learn more about that later this year as well. Speaking of cool new details, and also Sony related, DualSense support now available on PS Remote Play app, but with some caveats. The PlayStation Remote Play app now officially supports the DualSense controller. Support was added with the app's latest update, following on from iOS 14.5. With the update, you'll be able to play PS4 and PS5 games on your iOS device using a DualSense as long as you're connected to a sufficiently strong network. Android users can also use the Remote Play app, but at present, the Android version only supports the DualShock 4. Reddit users report that at least some of the DualSense's distinct features have made the transition intact, though implementation is spotty in places. While the adaptive triggers still work, quote, proper haptics, unquote, for the games like Control does not. That's pretty interesting. I do love this whole PS Remote Play, and I'm glad to see that the DualSense supports it because that is a really neat controller. It is unfortunate to hear that some of the haptic or the adaptive trigger stuff doesn't really work, or some of the other features aren't there yet, but I mean, they literally just put this out there, so I'm sure like a patch or two will probably fix that stuff up.
You think?
But I'm glad to see that that's still being supported and that's still out there. This is essentially the closest thing to, like, we talked about this a few podcasts ago, but when you could take your PS Vita and like remote play it to your PS4, and then it was almost like a Wii U where you could like play your PS4 games on the PS Vita. It's essentially the same type of thing because you're basically streaming your PS4, PS5 games to your iPhone or Android device, and then you just use the controller to play, which is pretty cool.
I see there, sir. I see.
Next up, and I actually should have put this one earlier because I just mentioned how you can't get a PS5.
Yeah. Oh, man. I do have a comment on that, but here, please let's continue.
Sony now expecting PS5 shortages to continue into next year. It sounds as though PS5 supplies will continue to be limited into 2022. It was never going to be an easy launching a new console in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, and Bloomberg now reports that Sony has spoken to, quote, a group of analysts about the supply constraint issues affecting PlayStation 5 supplies, reportedly warning that shortages will continue into 2022. And this is a quote from Hiroki Todoki. I hope I said that right. I don't think demand is calming down this year, and even if we secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PlayStation 5 next year, our supply won't be able to catch up with the demand. Did you say you had a comment on this, or were you going to comment on the last story?
No, it was actually about the shortage. So apparently, from what I understand, they're trying. Apparently, from what I understand, like someone said that they're trying to actually redesign the PS5 hardware because of this whole shortage of like, now what the hell are they called? I think you know the answer. There's a shortage of it's some kind of a computer piece.
Was like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like one of the chips or something. Maybe it's in this article because there's like these.
It's not a chip. It's like it's called not a semiconductor. It's a semiconductor. There's a shortage of those right now, and that is affecting the production of the PS5. So they're trying to actually redesign it so that way it doesn't need it. I think they're having trouble with that, at least to get it done in a short amount of time. So I heard that there's going to be a continued shortage of this until like 2022.
Yeah, because from what I understood, I guess it was the semiconductor, not the chip, but there's just a shortage of these things, I think, in a whole. So like there are a lot of different pieces of tech that are being delayed or put on hold because they can't produce as many right now.
Oh yeah, it's not just the PS5. It's just computer pieces as a whole. Like there's a reason why like. Among all the other buyouts we've been seeing, like among like consumer goods, computer parts are also being bought out. Or like if you try to get like a new graphics card, like you're paying double the retail for it because everyone just goes to like the micro centers and all the other computer stores, buys them all and sells them for double the price, or at least more expensive than what they should be. It's pretty ridiculous.
And I'm not too familiar on that. I have heard that. Which makes sense. I mean, just whatever the newest like graphics card or these other pieces of tech, like they always go quickly. But apparently, like even like a few year old like graphics cards and other pieces are also like starting to go up in price again, just because the supply is like just crazy right now, like the shortages.
It's one of those moments where I just have to quote Futurama and say I don't want to live on this planet anymore with all these buyouts. It makes me sad.
I do. Obviously, the pandemic has pretty much everything to do with it. Not just with the fact that, people can't like actually be working because they have to be like quarantined or whatever. But it's also scalping has definitely skyrocketed during the pandemic. And I feel like it's kind of just becoming a way of life, which is really sad. Like I feel like people aren't really getting too shamed for scalping anymore and people are embracing it. I even know a few of my friends who do scalp stuff, which I don't approve of, but I guess you got to do what you got to do to make money. It is what it is. It sucks. I just would wish that these companies would put better ways to get these products out to consumers. So specifically with like the PlayStation 5 things, I almost think there should be a way that you can pre-order the consoles prior, not just when they go up and be like, oh, hey, Target, we got like 50 PS5s, go nuts. You should actually be able to like down pay for a PS5 at like Target or Best Buy or whatever, and whenever it comes in the stock, like essentially you're put in a queue. Now I don't know if there would be a problem then where like some Joe Schmo would be like, oh well, I want 3,000 PS5s. Well, maybe you could like limit it to be like, oh, everyone can only get or pre-order 2 or something. I don't know. I think though that there should be more of like a pre-purchase thing. That way maybe they could know how many units they have to. I don't know. There's some sort of like better way to do all this. And I even think that maybe someone like the government or someone could step in and kind of almost blow this like scalping thing with all the tech and stuff like that. Maybe like make some sort of mandate to like not allow all this to happen, because the secondary market is thriving with all this stuff. Not even just tech, but even like Pokemon cards. Like people are just buying those out, and people have to go wait in line when Target's open like hours before just to get like one tin of Pokemon cards or like a few packs, or it's just wild right now.
Pretty ridiculous.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be a downer on the Level With Me podcast. I'm just kind of pointing out the obvious horrible things going on right now.
Corey.
Shouts to anyone who's still trying to get a PS5 or get whatever they want. It's just impossible. I gave up. I'm gonna get a PS5 when like God of War like 16 comes out at this point. But yeah, let's move on. We're done with the Sony news.
No.
Next up, Ubisoft announced free-to-play The Division Heartland. Ubisoft has announced The Division Heartland, a free-to-play game set in the Tom Clancy Division universe. Developed by the original Tom Clancy studio, Red Storm Entertainment, The Division Heartland will be a standalone from the main Division series. It's planned for release on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC in the 2021 and 2022 window. I think this seems very interesting. There are no details known about what it's going to be yet. I'm curious if it's going to be like The Division, where it's going to be a kind of like PvE themed thing where people are going to be grinding away at trying to get their better loot or whatever. Or I'm wondering if it's going to be more of a very multiplayer focused thing, maybe even a battle royale, or that could be implemented into this. They could put a battle pass in there or stuff. Who knows? The Division games, honestly, are usually pretty good. So I'm kind of curious about this. I think it's interesting that it's a free-to-play Division game. I know they're kind of like blowing a big load with the Division right now. They have like a movie coming out on Netflix, like a live-action Division movie. I know they're actually still like adding new content to the Division 2, which I believe came out in 2018 or 2017. So it's a few years old, but it's kind of interesting. I also know Ubisoft just like recently talked about a lot of their other games. Like they kind of had a guideline of what their release windows are looking like. Like I think they want to have Far Cry 6 out like this holiday season. I'm blanking on all the other games. The only one that I remember is they had a pirate game that they're still working on called Skull and Bones, and that game continues to just keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And now Skull and Bones is going to be like either 2022 or 2023. Probably 2023.
Interesting.
But yeah. That's all I got on Ubisoft. Now, we are on our final 3 news stories, and they are all Nintendo related. Because here at Level With Me Podcast, we love to save the Nintendo news for the very end because we love Nintendo. It's like our dessert.
Indeed.
Starting things off strong here, kind of Nintendo related. Lucasfilm games to re-release 2 16-bit classics. Lucas Games is resurrecting Zombies Ate My Neighbors and sequel Ghoul Patrol for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. They'll arrive on June 29th. The 16-bit games released by LucasArts in 1993 and 1995, respectively, have been made playable on modern consoles and given a few new features along the way. The real releases have been worked on by retro specialist Dotemu and will be sold together for $14.99. And some of the features that they're including in this new re-release: a modern save system to quickly save your progress in either game and continue your adventure wherever and whenever you want. That's great because these games are actually pretty difficult. Museum features: watch a video interview with one of the original Zombies developers or explore numerous galleries containing game art as well as previously unreleased marketing assets and concept art. That's always cool. Soundtrack is there. That's pretty self-explanatory. 2-player mode. You can play local co-op. Great. These are great local co-op games. And then there are achievements for all the games, or both of the games, which is really cool. These are great retro games. I highly recommend them. Top-down zombie shooting games. They got like fun like themes because all the weapons are like, they're not just like your traditional like Uzi and AK-47. Like they're all like random like weapons that like a kid would use. Like you start with like a water gun, then you find like, I know it's like a rocket launcher type thing, but I forget what it actually is. I think there's like a slingshot. I think you throw like spoons at like enemies, and like all the different weapons are like strong against different types of enemies. Like there's like weird wacky enemies too. So of course you got your zombies, but then I know there's like mummies. I think there's like werewolves. There's like giant ants on one level. There's like a giant baby on another level. These games are great. Yeah, they're wacky, but they're a lot of fun. I'm actually excited for this. I really like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I never played Ghoul Patrol, so I can't really comment on the quality of that game, but I was happy to see this one. I like those games. Next up here, more Nintendo-oriented. Illumination CEO joins Nintendo as new outside director.
What?
Chris Meledandri, CEO of American animation studio Illumination, has been nominated to join Nintendo as an outside director. Meledandri, whose company is responsible for Minions, Despicable Me, and the upcoming Mario animated movie, is anticipated to join the company following approval of the position at Nintendo's 81st annual general meetings of shareholders. That meeting is set to be held on June 29th, 2021, according to Nintendo's latest financial report. This is very interesting. I don't know what this necessarily would mean.
I don't like it because I'm not the biggest fan of Illumination, so I don't like how they're getting like more buddy with Nintendo. Maybe I'm being cynical, but I can't help it.
Honestly, all I see from something like this happening, or what I could predict, is they just want to make it more of a franchise. Like this Mario animated new movie, I'm sure this thing is going to do gangbusters. It's going to do really well, even if the movie is not that great. But obviously, it's going to be a kids' movie, so it's going to be like maybe at least like okay. But they're probably going to make like multiple sequels, maybe even make like a series on Netflix or like on a cartoon channel. You know, they're probably just going to do a lot with it. Maybe even branch out to other properties, which would be cool, like a Zelda or Metroid thing. Maybe even Kirby or who, I don't know.
I'd be okay. Well, Zelda is the best one, I think, as far as making a movie. And we've talked about this plenty of times, so I'm not gonna.
We don't have to rehash it. But yeah, I was just kind of throwing out like ideas on why he would be there. I highly doubt that this guy would, he would do anything in like the games department. It'd probably just be more for like this type of stuff that I was mentioning.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, last but not least, this was a surprise out of nowhere a few days after our last podcast. Nintendo announces Game Builder Garage, a cross between Labo and Dreams.
Interesting.
Nintendo has announced Game Builder Garage, a new game that will let you, quote, learn to make games from the minds at Nintendo. Its guided lessons and cute characters are designed to help you create a multitude of gaming experiences. On the face of it, the new game looks a lot like Dreams, which was released on PlayStation 4 in early 2020. It also seems to be in the spirit of Labo, which encouraged kids to craft unique items using cardboard. I wish they would elaborate more on when they say it looks a lot like Dreams. For those of you who don't know what the game Dreams is for the PlayStation 4, it's essentially like you can pretty much just make whatever kind of game you want to make. Dreams is made by the people who made like Little Big Planet, who are very into like user created content. So Dreams literally has like, basically it's almost like a creative tool, like what this is, where you can almost just make whatever game you want to make. I highly recommend you guys go look up like creations in Dreams. People have made like Mario 64 in Dreams. They've made all sorts of cool like recreations of things. I don't know a lot about the user created content. I'm not too familiar with Dreams. But yeah, that's essentially what this is. Game Builder Garage is basically Nintendo's own version of, hey, you want to build a game? Here's this very simplistic tool set. Although it might not be as simplistic as it looks, because if you guys watch the trailer, they actually have like a lot of features, a lot of different like properties you can set on the different objects, and they have like a lot of different ideas or like concepts of what you can actually make in this thing. And I'm very interested. I didn't get to the price here. I believe it's $29.99 USD. It's coming out June 11th, so it's coming out very soon. And there's going to be a physical version of this game. Game Builder Garage is designed to teach visual game programming by connecting creatures called Nondon. There are dozens of Nondon in the Game Builder Garage, each with its own unique function.
Sorry, I'm just laughing.
Nodon. Did I say that right?
And I'm assuming it's correct. I'm just making a joke.
That's okay. Lessons will be available to teach you the basics of designing games, with free programming mode available for those who want to go wild. The experiences touted in the trailer include platformers, shoot-em-ups, and something called, quote, Tuna Cube Factory 2, the highly anticipated sequel. It will also be possible to exchange and download games over the internet via local wireless, which can then examine via free programming mode to learn their inner workings. To aid in development, Game Builder Garage will support a compatible mouse which can be plugged into the USB port on the Switch dock. I actually didn't know that. That's cool. I like that. And there are some screenshots here. It looks like they're gonna like help you learn. Like a lot of this is probably mostly gonna just be tutorials of how to use all the different tools. And then, like it mentioned in the article, I'm glad I read this because it kind of explained a little bit more what it is. You'll be able to either create or go look at like creations. And I bet Nintendo is even going to have a bunch of games that they release like every week or every month. Be like, oh, hey, our developers made this fun thing. Oh, hey, we made this. We made that. And they try to, again, make it as simple as possible. But from the looks of it, it can get very complex. Because at the end of the day, it is kind of like programming, but it's just a very like childish, cartoony way to make it. It's not just a bunch of code or like text box. But I dig it. I think this is really cool. I plan on buying this. I have no idea if I would actually create, because I feel like I always buy these like games where they want you to create stuff and I just never know what I want to do, or I'm like, well, I would rather play something else and not be creative. I think this is awesome though. I dig it. What are your thoughts, Mike?
I think it's definitely better than Labo. If that makes any sense, it's as simple as that. Like it's an expansion. Am I making any sense here? It's not expanded. How do I say that?
No, you're right, because in Labo they actually did have this feature where you could create games with the Labo technology, or you could create your own like songs with that little Labo keyboard. So that's why they're kind of like saying that it adds on to that experience a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's like it takes the whole Labo thing, but it takes it to a whole new level, which I like.
And granted, like some of you might look at this, and these aren't going to be like crazy in-depth games like a Breath of the Wild or anything like that. They're going to be like very small, like bite-sized things, and sometimes a lot of them are probably going to be garbage, but then there'll be like a few that you're like, oh, this creator actually makes some good content. And I would hope it's going to be like maybe Super Mario Maker, where you maybe can follow the creator or like look at other things they made or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think this is very cool. I definitely would like to get this. I don't know if I'm actually going to build anything, but I love this in concept. It was also just a nice little surprise, because this is technically a Nintendo first-party game. Don't be shocked if the non-Don, or whatever the hell they're called, end up being a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Dong. That's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm a child.
They're not Dong. They're non-Don. Duh.
Non-Don, duh.
No one wants to be Don in 2021. You know what I'm saying? Political humor here on Level With Me podcast. That's going to wrap it up for the news. We are now going to move on into our weeks. Mike, since you said you didn't really get around to doing too much, do you want to kick things off?
Sure. Basically, all I can say is I didn't really get a chance to play any games. The only thing I can really say is I actually booted up not YGO but it's called EDOPro for Yu-Gi-Oh! Online. Just a good way for me to get back into the game a little bit, just have some fun playing. So I don't have the chance to play in real life anymore. I would love to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again in real life, but I just been messing around online with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Understandable.
One day I think one day you and I should do that just for fun. Just
I think so.
Yeah,
it would be a lot of fun.
Anyway, yeah, but one thing I will say, and this is actually going back to what you said earlier about crap. It was about I forgot it. No, it was about a movie that I watched. Here we go about MILFs, of course. So Amanda, for the longest time, was always saying how she has never seen any of the American Pie movies, and luckily, American Pie is available on it's available on what the hell's that called on Netflix? It's called Peacock, the new one. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right here.
It's available wherever you want it to be. Wink.
Oh, I know. If you know where to look on the interwebs.
Go venture into the seas. Yo ho, yo ho. All right, so how many American Pies did you watch?
Well, we actually watched Mainly just the first. Well, I think that we watched the first two movies because she actually enjoyed the first one so much she wanted to watch the second one, which was kind of cool. And so it's funny because like I mentioned to her that this is the movie where the origin of the word MILF came from, and she says she's like really, this is where it came from, and I said yeah, this is where it came from. So it was, and of course she actually really enjoyed the movie, which is kind of cool because I thought it's one of those classic like teenager movies or classic high school movies. So I was happy that we got to sit down and have a couple good laughs, and she really enjoyed it. And then when I got to the point where like they're at like the one guy's house and having like a house party, and like it's Stifler's mom, like her pictures on the wall, and all of like the guys who like all the guys' friends who are at the party are like oh my god, look at that woman. And then the one guy, I'm not sure if you ever saw this movie before. Have you?
I'm trying. I think I did.
Oh my gosh, you gotta watch it. It's such a good classic movie.
Well, I think I did watch this one like a year or two ago. Is this the same American? Because I just don't remember if it was like a different American Pie. But is this the one at the party where like they're in the bedroom and he ends up like spitting something in a beer, and then another guy like drinks it? Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
Oh, I've seen that lovely movie.
He made the beer extra frothy, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh God!
Added some nice foam to the top of it.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Stifler, how's the pale ale? That's so messed up. But anyway, the funny thing was like, so
you guys ever have White Claw? Well, check out this white beer.
Stop it!
I had to.
That's disgusting. Oh god, that scene just makes me gag. Ugh. Anyway, what I was trying to...
Who wants some apple pie?
Oh my god.
They'll be singing my... They don't even play that song in the movie, do they? I don't remember.
No, they don't. But the apple pie is a thing.
Shoutouts to Weird Al. I love the Jedi parody. I'm going all over the place.
Oh my god. Well, I was trying to say the one scene is when they said like, oh my god, look, it's Stifler's mom. The chick's a MILF. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, they finally said it. I'm like, I know, this is because it's the origin of the movie. And I just remember the origin of that word in this movie. And it was just funny because, like, when the guy's just like, yo, what word is that? And he goes, MILF. Mom, I'd like, man, I love frogs. And I'm just, like, laughing. I was just laughing so hard. Like, so hard. And I love every second of it. What a classic movie. My God. If anyone's never seen this movie, you're missing out. That's all I can say.
While I was in Hershey on Sunday, just walking around, I really was saying, man, I love frogs. There's a lot of frogs to love out here. I tried.
I can't deal with you right now.
It's the white wine.
It's the white wine.
I had like 3 sips. I'm diving deep in.
Stop making excuses with the white wine. Stop your excuses. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait until you get to Bandcamp. That's got some good ones.
Oh man. I actually never saw that one, the Bandcamp one. That was like one of the spin-off movies.
It was.
Yeah. I think they were all like relatively okay, but I never saw that one. Anyway. So Amanda really did enjoy the movie. We laughed, and then we started watching the second one and we laughed. So that was a nice little movie night for us. I mean, again, I've seen the movies, but it was just kind of cool being able just to, rewatch a classic movie from my childhood, I guess. And unfortunately,
Wayne,
I had a very boring week. Oh no, go ahead.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Go right ahead.
Did you know that they actually made like a new American Pie? I want to say like maybe 2019, and I saw this on Netflix. I didn't watch it though. But it's like an all-female cast American Pie. What?
Oh no, I didn't. I thought you were referring to they made like American Pie 4, which is supposed to be like I think it was like the reunion or something. I think it was called American Reunion. And but yeah, it was American Reunion. But I didn't see that one, and I definitely never heard of the one that's an all-female cast.
I gotta look it up now. It's called American Pie Girls Rules. Girls like. They control the rules. It came out in 2020. My bad. I've never seen it. I just saw it on Netflix one day scrolling.
No, it
and
must
I
be
watched
like a Netflix.
a little bit of the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this is weird.
It's probably like a Netflix exclusive or something. It has to be because I mean, but anyway, but was it funny? Was it entertaining? Like, what'd you think of it?
Oh, I never watched it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying it exists. I was gonna check the Rotten Tomato just to give us our verdict right now.
I see.
Oh my god, why can't I find Rotten Tomato? Come on now. Let's see. What do they say? What do they give the old girls rules? Let's see here. The tomato meter gives it a 30% out of 100. And the audience score gave it a 60.
Oh boy.
I'm sure it's great. Man, I love frogs. So is that your week?
that was my boring week. Corey, please enlighten me. What did you watch and play this week?
Well, before I really get into my week, I also just wanted to point out that you did mention a little bit earlier that we did get to actually record some games together finally.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance to mention that. Yeah, we did play more AM2R, and you played some No More Heroes.
Yep.
That's correct.
And it was a lot of fun in AM2R. I mean, I saw you already put up the episode, but we fought the big Terminator bird bot. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Got to
that
explore the mines with the green crystals. There's
a
big drill machine. Though. There was the code, the live wire, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
The good old Mountain Dew live wire.
Yeah. And as Mike said, I mean, I'll pick up the baton right there. Yeah, we did play more No More Heroes. We just, we had to do a little bit of the cash grind because I got some upgrades. Got the big beam katana bat. Oh, man, I'm already blanking on the name. It's something like Zubaki.
I don't know what it's called. I call it the power baton or whatever. That's what it was in Star Wars, I think.
Yeah. And I appreciated you noticing their nod to Darth Maul, where like when Travis lights this beam katana, he kind of like does the positioning of how Darth Maul like lit his lightsaber, which is cool.
It was nice.
And I'll get some of these videos up in the near future, but we also fought. Did we do? We did the two bosses because our first one when we started, we did.
Let's shake. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will see it, but yeah, we did that guy, and then we made it to the magician dude with the long name that is just ridiculous.
A Russian magician guy.
I actually want to look it up because I think it's funny. But yeah, we had a lot of fun playing that. It was good to get back in No More Heroes. I missed that game. Oh boy.
Me too, Corey. Me too.
And we're getting pretty close to the end because we just completed it was the fourth, right? Was the magician? Yeah, because we have Bad Girl, and then we have that like witch lady who's the big
cannon.
Yeah. Okay, I have his name. This magician that we fought, his name is Harvey Moisen Witskit Voldo Arski. That is his 3 names.
Oh yes, how could I forget?
Yes.
I think you meant to say Harvey something Domakarski.
Also, it's been a minute since I played No More Heroes, but we couldn't remember this dude, but he was honestly a really cool boss fight. He was incredibly easy because I feel like I have been getting like good upgrades. That's where all my money went. But I enjoyed how he had like the 2 beam katanas, like they were like red and blue, and they kind of looked like unicorn horns. He had like his bird homing attack. He had the thing where he would make the camera like invert and all your controls were. But he was a fun boss. I enjoyed fighting him.
Yeah, that's true. I remember like when we got to there, I remember like him having a weird name, but I completely forgot everything about this guy. It was so strange. Even the path to get to him, like how you got back on the subway again. Like and that little like mini shooter game, like I really didn't remember anything, and I didn't remember him. I had no idea he was like a magician. It was so strange that I didn't remember anything about him, and I think he's the only boss that I could remember anything about. And it's strange because he seems so cool and memorable. Why did I not remember him? It was really odd.
I'm glad you pointed out about that. There is like a segment right before you fight him where there's like a shmup area where you control this like robot with this katana, and the game literally turns into a shmup for a second. And I have no idea, thinking about that, what that even had to do with any of the story. Like, that was just a random little gameplay section. Suda might have just put that in there because he's like, haha, now play a shmup area. It's funny. I don't know. If any of the listeners know why they put it in there, email us or don't. I don't care.
I really want to know, but don't tell me. I really don't give a shit.
But moving on from there, what I watched, I've been watching a lot of Unwrapped, which is a fun, like how it's made show about popular snacking items, and I'm not needing to, but I did just stop. I'm going to completely stop watching that show because all it makes me do is want to eat food. So I'm like, nope, I don't need to eat Cheetos and Cheez-Its and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Yes,
I'm out. Now I got to tap out. I love Mark Summers. I love the show. I just can't watch it because I have no self-control. But for a notable show, and Mike, you'll be really happy to hear this, I started watching Invincible.
Yay!
The Amazon Prime series, the animated superhero show, Invincible. I'm 2 episodes deep. It's really cool. Considering it's kind of old, I'm going to, just kind of go into some spoiler territories here. So if you're worried about that, you might want to skip ahead a minute or two.
No, please.
Probably won't talk that long. But basically, just the Invincible is it follows this character named Mark. And basically, it's almost like his coming-of-age story where he's like maturing and finally getting his superpowers that he kind of inherited from his dad, Omni-Man, which something that's cool about Invincible is that it's almost parodying DC, so there's like almost like an exact copy of all the DC heroes, but they kind of just put a twist on them. So Omni-Man is essentially almost like your Superman. There's like a Batman type character who I believe is named Darkman.
Or Darkwing, I think it was. Or
Darkwing.
Dark
Darkwing, or yeah, something like that. I got a shout out to the Aquaman parody, who is just literally a big fish guy.
Yeah, it's Whale Man.
Like, it's like the complete opposite of Aquaman being this like buff, hunky, attractive Jason Momoa looking dude, and then it's just literally a giant fish guy. Like, I was like, that's hilarious. I love that.
That was pretty funny.
And again, I'm going to go into spoiler territories. The first episode is a lot about Mark. Like, he's just waiting to get his powers. He hasn't got them yet. He's like, oh, when I'm going to get them, because he wants to be like a superhero, wants to be like his dad. And he eventually gets them, like, in the middle, close to the end of the episode. And then the real stinger, besides him getting his powers and trying to learn them, and, like, his dad is, like, teaching him the powers. But right at the end of the episode, Omni-Man has, like, this council. I forget, what's the name of the, like, squad that's not the Justice League? Like, what's their...
I think it's called, like, the Guardians of the Globe.
That's it, yep.
It's a little parody of Guardians of the Galaxy, but pretty sure that's what they're called.
But yeah, it's essentially like the Justice League, and it's the like the animated Justice League, like the classic characters. Like, there is a Martian Manhunter parody, there is a Wonder Woman type character, but basically
Flash character, yeah.
Oh, it's But yeah, they're all called their headquarters, or like the Superman parody, like castle thing or whatever. I say parody. I don't know if that's the right word. But it's just almost like a copy, but it's not like joking. It's like
you're right. Yeah, I was using the word parody as well, but I guess it's technically not a parody. It's just like it's more of like a not like a shout out or a tribute, but like it's what's the guy's name? Kirk, whatever his name is, I forget his name. The guy who wrote Walking Dead and wrote the comic books. This is just his interpretation of superheroes and stuff, and obviously it's like a nod to the existing DC characters. Right. So yeah, this is like Omni-Man's Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think it's just the fortress for the
Guardians of the
Globe. Because technically, I mean, if you don't mind me chiming in, I think Omni-Man. This is important. Again, spoiler warning. Omni-Man is not a guardian of the globe. He is like obviously like the world's greatest superhero, but he doesn't like.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's actually really important. He's not part of like that team, so he's kind of like his own. He just does things on his own.
Yeah, and no, you're right. They do actually establish that. Like, one of the first scenes is like these two like security guards outside the White House, and then they get attacked by like these supervillains, and that's when the Guardians of the Globe actually show up. But then Omni-Man just kind of comes out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh, he's here!" Like they already, you can tell there's some sort of like they don't really like him to begin with for some reason. But anyways, what I was gonna say is the Guardians of the Globe are for some reason all called to their headquarters. And again, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to, like, this is a key element of the show. But Omni-Man ends up just brutally beating the ever-living shit out of all these characters and literally just straight up murdering them. Some Mortal Kombat-esque fatalities on some of these characters.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, I remember, like, someone told me that the ending was amazing, and like, I was already enjoying the show for what it was, and then the ending of the show was just like, my God, this is incredible. Incredible. Like, it was just so shockingly, like, gory. Like, really gory for a cartoon, you know?
Exactly. And that's, like, one of the things that I think makes this show, like, really work, because it draws you in with its very, like, it looks like the DC animated shows, like, that kind of nice, crisp line and art style. But then, yeah, it has all this, like, gritty, realistic, dark combat and themes in the show. You know, there's some slight cursing. I was just thinking of the one moment when, like, the Flash character is, like, saving people, and he, like, brings them all together, and then, like, the one throws up, and then they all, like, start throwing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's just done really well. The story is, like, drawing me in. I'm really digging all the characters. I think they're all, like, really great. Shout-outs to J.K. Simmons, by the way. He's Omni-Man. I love J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. And he looks like... I mean, I'm not sure if it was a coincidence, but yeah, J.K. Simmons does his voice, and he looks just like James Jonah Jameson, whatever his name is, from Spider-Man. It's pretty funny. It's pretty uncanny.
And so I'm going to do something a little untraditional here, but I think I'm almost going to try to keep going like week to week and explain like each episode from my interpretation.
That'd be fun.
And I end up forgetting like mentioning some key moments, but luckily since you watch the whole show, you can even point them out if I forget to touch on them. But again, the second episode, again, spoilers here, but it's kind of like about Mark like realizing his like learning his superpowers. I forget, did Mark get his like proper suit in the first episode, like the Invincible costume, or was he still like trying to figure that out, or is that how it ended? I forget.
I actually forget if he got his.
I think that's how it ends. And then it goes to the Omni-Man murder scene.
I think you're right. I think at the end of the episode, he got his official suit because he determined that, okay, I want this to be my superhero name, Invincible. Right. I think that's how it ended.
Yeah. And he had like his like bootleg, like whatever suit where like Omni-Man finds him and he's like, oh, what are you doing?
Is that really what you're going to wear? I have no son.
But yeah, the second episode is like him actually, again, just trying to kind of almost learn the ropes of being a superhero. I forget if this was in the first episode or maybe this is like the beginning of the second episode, but Omni-Man, again, his dad is like just training him to be a better hero. So he's like, there's like this one moment where like Omni-Man like just straight up punches him with like all his might, and like Mark actually like really gets hurt by it and almost like a little traumatized. He's like, I can't believe you did that. Like that actually really hurt. But Omni-Man's just trying to literally like teach him like that this is real shit. You know, if you go out and be a superhero, you're going to have to confront like all sorts of horrible supervillains. And again, just fast forward a little bit in this episode where like there's literally this like alien race that is straight up the like portal from Endgame, like warping in these other aliens to like attack what I assume is like, do they ever establish where they live? Is it like New York, or is it supposed to be like Metropolis or something like that?
I actually don't know. I don't recall. I want to say they did actually name it like as like it is like an actual city. It's probably like New York or something. Sure. I really don't know.
It's like a New York. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, these aliens are attacking, and Mark goes in there, Invincible. He tries to save the day, and he realizes he's in over his head. He ends up like trying to rescue people, but kind of almost like hurts some of them and gets almost in like a shell shock. And then he kind of meets like the equivalent of the Teen Titans, which I also am blanking. What's the name of their squad? Like the one that's like the robot or is his name just Robot? I forget.
I think his name is Robot, and then if I can remember, there's Robot, Adam Eve,
Yeah.
Rexplode,
Duplicate.
Duplicate. I think that's a really clever name. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And
it's just those four, unless another one comes later or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I forget what they're called. But anyway, yeah, they're like the B team, like, Justice League, whatever. Yeah, Teen Titans is a great example. They're like the Teen Titans.
Yeah, because I feel like Robot's almost like the Cyborg, and the Adam Eve, she's almost like a Starfire, and they're all like kind of young too. Like, that's why I kind of made that comparison to the Teen Titans. But like Mark ends up kind of like joining them. And like there's kind of this like cool like ongoing scenario with this like alien race that's kind of like invading. Also, I forgot to mention this, but in the previous episode, like when Omni-Man was like fighting all the like Guardians of the Globe, they just couldn't do anything against him because he's basically Superman. But they used all they could and basically knocked him out. So he was like incapacitated for like the end of episode 1, and then I'd say like half of episode 2, he was like all incapacitated while like they established the what is essentially like the shield or whatever, like the defense force that recognize like these superheroes, and they kind of go get Omni-Man and like try to like patch him up and get him back together, and all good. And then they establish, again, I'm blanking on the names, but there's like that devil detective character that makes me think of Hellboy a little bit.
That's what I thought. He looks just like Hellboy. I want to say his name is like
Demon Detective. Is it something like that?
I think yes, probably is.
I think it's something as stupid and generic like that, but he's cool.
I think his name is like something Morningstar or something like that. I forget what his name is. Like Damien Morning, like obviously like a devil name like Damien Morningstar or something like that. I really don't know.
Yeah. But he's there kind of like trying to piece together who did this to the Guardians of the Globe, because no one knows. That's like another theme of the show right now. They're trying to figure it out. And it seems like he might get close to it because he's almost having like these visions of seeing the Guardians of the Globe getting like wiped out. But obviously Omni-Man was all like blacked out. Like he couldn't see that it was him yet. I'm trying to remember what else happened in this episode, because there was this ongoing fight with these aliens who would come back, and they were like advancing like super quickly compared to our timeline. And eventually Omni-Man does wake up and he comes down, and there was this like really, really graphic scene that I was not ready for, where like Omni-Man like goes into their time portal, and like Mark goes back home to his mom, which is Omni-Man's wife, and he's like, "Oh, Dad went in this time portal," and she's like, "Oh, he'll be back by dinner, no problem." And there's like this scene of like Omni-Man on this other planet, and he is just like genociding this alien race, and I was just like not ready for it. Like I'm like, yeah, you don't put this into perspective when you think about this kind of stuff, but he is straight up like killing every last alien on this planet, this one dude. And it's even like so dark. The last scene is like he has like 3 or 4 of these alien scientists like open a portal for him to get back home, and he's like holding this big piece of Earth or their planet. So basically, when he leaves, it's gonna fall and kill them all too. It's so like dark and twisted. I was like, who thinks of this stuff, man? Like it's I love it, but it's so like violent and brutal. But anyways, it's great. Oh gosh, what was I was just going to add something else to that, too. Ah, crap. How's the episode end? Do you remember? I was trying to get to that.
I think it might be with the devil detective, who actually I just looked up. His name is Damien Darkblood. That's what it was.
Okay, there you go.
I want to say it ends with him talking to like the one guy. I think his name's Cecil. He's like the director of this universe's version of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. I want to say he talks to him because he's like suspicious about what happened at like the Fortress of Solitude or whatever. So I think it's how it ended.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was trying to think if there was like, there might have been another moment in there. I got distracted by the genocide, but
I want to say maybe it's like Mark, developing. Like I think he starts like developing a relationship with either one of the superhero girls or with the girl from high school. I think that's like like the other like the normal thing that Mark tries to do.
Yeah, there was like this thing where because he's going to high school, like people thought him and Adam Eve's like actual human character or like her human identity, they were like dating, and then like there's like this bully character who like tried to beat up Mark and like failed because he's basically Superman. And then like he asks at, or he gives her like this note of this other girl that Mark actually likes. Oh man, there was something else there. I completely just lost it. The wine is really getting to me, folks. The show's great. Or I'm going to say the spoilers are done. Go watch Invincible. I'm very excited to continue watching Invincible. It's fantastic.
I'm happy because, like, you know, I remember, like the past couple episodes I was talking about it, but I was doing my best to not spoil it. So I'm happy that now that you watched it, we can actually, like, talk about it in detail. Oh, yeah. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. And also, this is going to continue. I'm horrible with, like, remembering names, so I'm sure there's going to be, like, 16 other characters that get introduced. I'm going to be like, who was that guy? He had the black mask. He had the leotard. So just get used to that. But I want to actually try to do this more, like have these more open discussions, which, again, they get into spoiler territory, but I'll try my best to, like, you know, shout that out in case you don't want to get spoiled. But the show has been out for a little bit, you know. That's Invincible. I like it. It's good. As for games I played, that's all I really got to watch. I, of course, have been continuing playing more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as well as Fortnite. I really don't have too much else to add to those games. They're almost like always just the same thing over and over and over. I am really enjoying getting back into Smash. I haven't played that for like a week or two, and I was just like honestly playing that a decent amount. I was kind of kicking myself a little bit though, because I a lot of times on the weekends I'll get like so relaxed and like I'll have my game on the one monitor and I'll usually put like a podcast or stream on my other monitor and just like really zone out, and I'll be like, oh crap, why didn't I just stream this like 2 or 3 hour session? Like that would have been probably more productive, but it is what it is. Fortnite, I'm really grinding away on that battle pass. I really want to max it out before it ends, which I have about a month. I think it's June 6th or something like that. I believe I'm like 75, 76 right now on the battle pass. And with all the different challenges they give you, I'm actually having a lot of fun like doing this because it makes you do like unconventional things that you wouldn't do normally in a battle royale game. So when I started playing Fortnite, I was mainly just focusing on trying to win and like get kills and perform well. Now I more or less will kind of go in between of doing that and also being like, hey, this round I'm just going to try to complete this quest. And some of these quests are like, oh, just visit this like named location on the map. Or sometimes it's like I had to do one that was like a swimming challenge, so it's almost like a time trial. So you activate the time trial, and then like these little clocks appear on the map, and you have to like swim into them and like collect them. It almost reminded me of like something out of a Mario or like a Banjo-Kazooie. And once you get them in the time, you complete the quest, which just gives you XP to, again, progress the battle pass. They added a bunch of new weapons in the last update. Well, I don't think they're new, but they put them back in the game, and then it's a lot about like fire. Like they have this element where you can light people's structures on fire, like their buildings, which I actually do like that idea because it kind of de-incentivizes the mass like building, you know, the joke of you shoot someone and they turn to a castle. Well, now that you have like all these fire items, you can kind of like light that stuff so it'll burn down and even potentially hurt them. The only thing that's a downside about that is you can do that on just regular homes. So what ends up happening is someone will find like a flare gun, or they'll find like the flaming arrow, and it's pretty much just like everyone just shoots all these buildings immediately. So like the house where all the loot is located, someone will just shoot it, and it just turns into like a pile of rubble. So it just ends up like the map ends up being like very flat and nothing. So you really have to like build out, and it almost seems like a lot of it almost just seems like you have like no structures or elevation. So you kind of have to play a little bit more on your toes. It's interesting though. I'm still digging it. We talked about No More Heroes. I don't have to bring that up again. I also finally got to sit down and play. Me and Abra over at Loudstone Entertainment are starting up a new LP.
Oh boy.
I don't know. There's a lot going on at Loudstone. They're making like some other new YouTube channels. I'm kind of familiar with it, but I'm also not. I probably shouldn't say too much. But the new game that we're let's playing, we wanted to let's play a music-oriented game, and I actually had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what I wanted to play. Because when they say that, they don't mean like a music rhythm game, like a Guitar Hero or what have you. They mean like a game that kind of is themed around like a musical element. And I was like, well, that's a little tricky. There aren't too many of those. But I thought my noggin, what classic game that features music. Shout out to the PlayStation. I'm wearing my PlayStation shirt right now. We began our Let's Play of Parappa the Rapper on the PS4. This is the remastered version, so it looks nice and crisp. I am horrible at that game. It is a rhythm game where you have to like time the like button presses to this weird like line that kind of like just follow, like there's like I think it's like a star or something that kind of follows the buttons you have to press, and you have to like time them properly, but you also need to, I feel like you have to do more, like maybe even freestyle, like by pressing other buttons, because it's a very weird game. I would suggest everyone go look this game up if you haven't ever seen it. It's very like colorful and wacky. It almost looks like a cartoon show for like kids, but also it kind of reminds me of some sort of like crazy drug trip with all the different colors and the characters and the clash between like these 2D characters and the 3D models. Like you can definitely tell people were definitely like trying to learn 3D modeling on the PlayStation 1. But yeah,
you tell me that the Onion Sensei is trippy. I don't think so. I think he's perfectly normal.
But yeah, you have it. So like the scale on how they tell you that you're doing good is you do get points when you hit the button at the right time. So if it says X, you hit the X or whatever. But like you can also lose points, and I don't know if it's something to do with the rhythm of the game or like if you're a little too late. And there's really no indication on this other than just looking down to your left or right. On the left, you have your point tracker, and on the right, you have the 4 moods, which are, I believe, I gotta look them up now. I'm just blanking on everything. I think it's cool, good, bad, and awful. I think are the 4, and I don't again know like what to turn. I think it's something with your points or like the timing of when you hit the buttons or something, but I just kept teetering back and forth between like good and bad, which is kind of just like the middle two. I never got cool. I was not cool. But
Corey.
I was enjoying the game. So was Abra, like watching me. The music is really good. I do enjoy the silly little story that's there. I think the remaster looks really nice. It's kind of interesting though, because they actually only remastered the game itself. All the cutscenes are straight from the PlayStation 1, so those look like really bad quality, actually. Like, they're, like, you know, probably like 360p or maybe even lower. But you can still, you know, follow what's going on there. I actually really don't know too much what's going on. Like, Parappa, he's trying to go out with this flower girl. There's this dog with this big chin who's, like, flexing on him all the time. This dog has, like, a car that's, like, 16 miles long with a hot tub in it. There's this bear who I categorize myself as. The bear is always eating donuts or ice cream, much like myself. Yeah, it's an odd game. It's very weird. It's fun. I like it. I just don't really understand how it works. Like, I feel like I almost need to look up a tutorial on what I'm doing wrong, because we actually ended the episode with me failing the one level I was on, and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. We'll figure it out next episode. That's Parappa the Rapper. Go check it out. Hot new game. And last but not least, I should probably mention this little indie hit that I think is a pretty cool game, but maybe some other people won't really enjoy it too much. I played their new Pokemon Snap.
Oh man, I want to buy. I haven't gotten that game yet.
You were close. Well done.
No, see, that's classic Pokemon Snap. That's the good old days.
Yeah. You know, a lot of that statement could be compared to what is going on with new Pokemon Snap. I definitely have been enjoying my time with Pokemon Snap. I probably put about like 2 or 3 hours into it.
Oh, but
I think that game is very much riding on nostalgia. So, those of you who aren't familiar with Pokemon Snap, it's basically you just take pictures of Pokemon. You go on different courses. You kind of ride in this like cart. It almost reminds me of like a Disney World like dark ride or something like that, where you can kind of like look around freely and take pictures of different Pokemon. As you progress, you get different like upgrades that you can use to help you take pictures. Like you get like this scanner, which will make the Pokemon kind of like look at you. You'll eventually get the fluff fruit, which are definitely not to Apple. When you throw the fluff fruit at Pokemon, they do not get hurt because it is a fluff fruit. It is made out of fluff. Like, it's not hard. It's not going to harm the Pokemon.
Oh, see, back in my day, we threw those rock solid apples at the Charmanders, and we hurt them when we did it.
However, keep in mind that the fluff fruit looks exactly like that apple that you're talking about, but it's a fluff fruit. It's a fluff fruit, guys. It's not an apple. It's not hurting them. It's a fluff fruit.
I'm reminded of Arkham Knight, where like you were just if you drove around in your Batmobile, don't worry, these are non-lethal bullets, and even though you ran into the car, it emitted a non-lethal shockwave, so that way there were no casualties.
Exactly.
Like okay.
Exactly.
But if I had like 15 cars and tanks blew up, don't worry, there's no casualties.
Yeah, Batman doesn't kill people.
Exactly. Just like the fluff fruit does not hurt Pokemon.
So some of the things that they did to actually add to the experience is with each of these different pictures you take, there are basically 4 different tiers of picture you can take per Pokemon. So there is a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star version of each Pokemon, or picture of each Pokemon, essentially. So every Pokemon needed to get 4 pictures of it to technically complete it in your photo decks, so to say. And the stars are basically representative of how well your framing is of the Pokemon, as well as if you catch the Pokemon doing special actions. So like I mentioned, if you do the scan, the Pokemon can look at you. When you throw the fluff fruit at the Pokemon, they'll make like maybe a little reaction to that. And then eventually, sometimes Pokemon will have like very special animations they do. For example, I saw a Caterpie do like a string shot like in the air, almost like he was going to like start becoming a Metapod, which was pretty cool. And then again, you'll rate these, like at the end of your session, you pick each photo you want, and Professor Mirror, that's the new guy, will rate all your photos, and they do a good job explaining what all the different like 5 or 6 categories mean. I do think with the rating, it would be really nice if you could actually have multiple pictures submitted per review or whatever. So with the multiple star thing, you can only pick one type of photo or star level for each Pokemon. So you can't like submit a 1-star picture of Pikachu and a 2-star picture of Pikachu and a 3-star picture of Pikachu. You can only pick one of those to be submitted. And I think it would have been better if you could submit multiple star levels of each Pokemon, because basically it's just adding a lot of busy work. So you're going to have to basically take 4 different pictures of the Pokemon and hope that you're getting in within whatever that star rating is. Take that as you will. I see that a little bit more as busy work. Maybe they just wanted to add more to the experience again. Speaking of adding more to the experience, another thing that's new is after your session in these different courses, you get all the points that you accumulate from basically Professor Mirror rating your picture goes into like an experience bar for the different stages. And I believe there are 4 levels to each of the different stages. And basically as you level them up, new Pokemon will appear, new things will happen in the level where maybe like Pokemon will do different actions, or you'll get better opportunities to get different pictures with said Pokemon, or even new routes will appear in these different levels, which is actually kind of cool. But again, it's all adding a little bit more like busy work to it, where you might have to play a level repeatedly over and over and over just to max out the level and then get your full experience of the level. But you're not necessarily going back to different versions of the level. When you max out a level, you can get everything in the level. You don't have to necessarily go to the level 1 version of the stage and then level 2, yada, yada, yada. The only thing that they do like that is there is a day and night version of every level, it seems like.
That's pretty cool.
And depending on which version you play, you'll see different Pokemon. Sometimes you'll see some of the Pokemon previously sleeping, but most of the times you're seeing new Pokemon. And again, you level up these 2 individually. So the day level the day stage has a level, and the night stage has a level. So again, it seems like they're just adding a little bit more busy work, but take this how you want. You could look at that as, they're just fleshing out the game a little bit more. I almost look at it as a little more of the busy work. But I I honestly, I overall have been enjoying it, but I think, like what I was saying, I feel like a lot of this game is riding hard on nostalgia. I think at the end of the day, like, it's a very simplistic game. I don't think it's that deep. I don't necessarily know if it's worth $60. I'm appreciating it. I'm enjoying it. I'm just saying that if you don't really have a lot of nostalgia for Pokemon Snap, this might not be a thing for you. I don't know. I will say
good to know.
I will say this. They did put a story in the game now with all these new characters. They have like Professor Mirror of the, I think it's called the Lental or Lethal region. I forget what it's called. But it's like a new area. There's like a bunch of different islands. Again, I'm very early. I only got to like the forest or I forget. I think it's called the jungle. This is a minor spoiler, but Todd shows up, the character from the first Pokemon Snap, which is pretty cool. And there's a bunch of like little sub characters there too. I also wish you could actually customize your character more, because at the beginning of the game, you get a prompt to pick your trainer or whatever it's called, the photographer. But all it is you're basically just picking if you want to be a boy or girl and like what kind of gender you want to be. So there's like a white guy with brown hair, a white guy with blonde hair. There's like a tan guy and a black guy. And then there's just the female versions of that. But you can't actually like customize any of the features. You can't actually customize the clothing. So it's a little disappointed in that aspect. Like, I don't even understand really what's the point of that. Like, maybe they should have just made a default character kind of like Todd from the original Pokemon Go, or Pokemon Snap, but I don't know. I am enjoying this. I don't want it to be negative. I'm just saying I can see some flaws with this game, or why some people might like look at it and be like, well, I don't necessarily know if that's a $60 experience, but I think it's pretty fun. And I do also want to mention that it has been running really well. I haven't had any issues with it. I think it looks very beautiful. The graphics are superb. I do recommend you turn up your camera sensitivity. I had to turn mine up a little bit just so you can like turn around the vehicle a little bit easier. There is like a quick like 180 like swap, which is pretty useful. And like I said, you get like, from what I understand, you're essentially going to get all those upgrades from the original Pokemon Snap just as you progress. So like I said, after like 4 or 5 levels, I got the Fluff Fruit. I know there's like other things you get. Oh, and okay, I'm remembering more stuff. Sorry, I don't want to keep going on about this, but again, one of the things that just seemed like busy work is sometimes, especially early on, like you kind of end up replaying a lot of the levels again. So you played like the beach level, then you do like I think the night version, then you go back to the regular beach. Like they're kind of just showing you like what the actual difference is between like the level 1 and level 2, but it is a little like annoying, like doing the levels over and over again. Luckily the levels don't last very long. Like the whole course is maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, you know. And again, there is like a lot to look at because you're obviously not going to be getting the stuff to your left if you're looking to your right or vice versa. Oh, and I wanted to mention, this game actually has like boss battle Pokemon Snap areas. So I only found one so far, but I assume there are more of these, where I went into this area and it's at night and this giant Meganium comes out of nowhere and it'll like eat these crystal plants and it starts to glow like crazy. And that's when you like take your photos. All the other photos you take don't count. And it legit is like a boss battle. Like that's the only Pokemon in the area. You're like just following that and you're watching it. Again, maybe some people would be like, that's boring. You only have one Pokemon at a time. But I know you also level up those boss areas, and I haven't gone back to the level 2 version of that. I don't know if Meganium would just do different things or be in different poses to get better star rankings or whatever. I also know that the stars, I'm jumping around a lot, but I know the stars have different like tiers. So there's the 1, 2, 3, or 4 star levels, but then each of the stars also have like bronze, silver, gold, and crystal, which I also don't know if that's point related or if that's there's a lot of layers. It's almost like they just took Pokemon Snap, like the original one, and just almost like added a lot to it. So in a way, it's almost like a pure sequel. It's fun though.
That's cool. I like that.
I'm not trying to crap on this game. Like I'm just trying to kind of tell people that, hey, like this, it's a very simplistic game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. People like Minecraft. Like, well, I mean, Minecraft isn't really that simple anymore. It's fun.
No,
it is good.
You're saying.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it because I kind of like that kind of gameplay, and I think maybe it will just be tugging on my nostalgia, but whatever, I'm cool with that.
I'll say this. It is extremely relaxing. If you want a game to just turn your brain off and just be like, oh, look at that one over there. I don't have him in my deck or photo decks yet. Also, speaking of that, there's like a lot of Pokemon that I don't even recognize because I haven't played since Black and White, and I really don't know a lot of newer Pokemon. So I'm like, who the heck is this thing? It's good, though. It's good.
I'm just saying this right now. If there's no Tyranitar, I'm rioting.
Bro, there is definitely a Tyranitar. I remember sending you pictures of the Tyranitar in game.
Oh wait, did you? I forget. Oh my gosh.
I haven't got to the Tyranitar in the game, but there was like a trailer released for this game like a few months ago, and it had Tyranitar in it. So don't worry, he's there.
My God.
He's there.
Oh, happy day for me.
That reminded me though, like it's cool because one of the things is like when you get the fluff fruit, when the Pokemon eat it, it's like really cute. And they all have like unique animations for eating, and then like they'll do like a little animation after they eat the fluff fruit. They're like, "Oh yeah, that was delicious." It's pretty adorable. That's all I got though. Shall we move on to our question of the week?
That sounds like a good plan, and it is a doozy of a question for this week. Don't ask me why, but I had Donkey Kong on the brain. I think it's because I was kind of like making like a list of games I want to play for the channel. And I was thinking about I can't wait to play Donkey Kong Country 2. So I thought, hey, let me think of a good Donkey Kong question because Mario's too predictable. So for this week, I thought the fun question is simply, what do you think is Donkey Kong's favorite food? Again, you can answer anything you wanted to, but I obviously just gave 4 suggestions for everyone to vote for, and here's what our answers are because no one gave their own answer. So my 4 answers were bananas.
All right.
B, that was A. So A, bananas. B, banana split.
Oh, that's good.
C, a banana shake.
Well, that's real good.
And D, banana Richard Nixon. Just a Richard Nixon made of bananas.
Interesting. Okay. I've had that before once. It wasn't as bad as it sounds.
It was. I think it's like it's kind of like you have to have a good one. If you have a bad banana Richard Nixon, it's pretty awful. But if you have a good banana Richard Nixon, it's one of the best things you ever have. Anyway, I love how that's gonna be like my joking answer for every D, for every like option D. So we did actually get 6 answers. Personally, I wanted to contribute. Well, 2 that I guess don't really count, but I did want to contribute to this myself, so I voted for banana Richard Nixon because, like I said, I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong knows where to get a good one.
Yeah, a good one's good. I get it.
Oh gosh,
not my first choice.
Yeah, but your first choice was apparently a banana shake, which does sound pretty darn tasty.
I'm a connoisseur of a milkshake. I've had quite a few banana milkshakes, and they are delicious. So I think Mr. Donkey would really appreciate it.
I think you should too. I'm pretty sure in like some of the comics I've seen, like or cartoons, I've seen DK drinking a banana shake. So hey, I'm blaming the guy.
Also, it could be a healthy shake, like it could be a protein shake with banana, because he is a very swole Kong.
Oh yeah, man. He's a beast.
I've seen those fists fly and smash.
Yeah, how do you think he knocks out K. Rool so easily? The protein add a little protein powder, add a little banana in there, you're good to go.
He knocked out Little Mac too, so
that's true. Unfortunately, no one answered banana split, which is, in all honesty, I think banana splits are delicious. So I'm shocked that no one answered that. But we did get 4 other answers, and we did get 3 answers went to banana. We had Day and Night Gaming, and Death One Collector, and Owen Reese. All answered that bananas are his favorite food. Classic banana. Because we all know he does love bananas. And we did get another answer. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually answered it wrong. Sorry. It was actually Death One Collector, Owen Reese, and Psycho Isometic. I'm sorry. They're the ones who actually voted for bananas. I'm sorry. Day and Night Gaming also agree with me and said a banana Richard Nixon is exactly what DK would prefer.
They know. They've had a good one.
Yeah, but yeah, so thank you all for answering to our little fun question of the week. Thank you to Day and Night Gaming, Death One Collector, Owen Reese, and Psycho Isematic. Sorry, that name's a little hard for me to pronounce. Psycho Isematic? Oh, there we go. Don't worry, we'll have all you guys linked down below in our, and in the description just to thank you for contributing to the podcast. We really do appreciate it. It's all in good fun, guys,
What's the weirdest banana food you've ever seen?
I mean, I've tried banana pudding, banana cookies, but they're all delicious. Banana bread, these are all great. I wish I could have more answers on my Instagram post, but 4 is the max, unfortunately. But the weirdest banana food, I want to say I've seen a banana pizza, and I'm not just making a joke because of the whole meatball pizza thing. I'm pretty sure I've seen a banana pizza, like a pizza with banana chips on it.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one. Yeah. How about you, Corey?
I once saw a banana meatloaf.
Really?
I guess it was just called a banana loaf at that point.
That really does sound disgusting.
It had ketchup on it. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Wait, what? I really hope you're making a joke out of this, because I can't imagine
nothing. I'm making a joke.
Corey, come on. You had me believe. Yeah, I fell for it too.
I am thinking of food crimes, and I feel like I've seen some weird bananas mixed with other things, and it's like, hey, this is how you eat bananas, right? It's like someone just eats banana with a bunch of ketchup. I don't know. Do you like runts, like the banana runts? Because I always thought those tasted gross. I'm not a fan of artificial banana flavor.
To be fair, I don't like runts. I think they're a disgusting candy.
They are pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's like someone put powdery sugar in my little fruit. Yeah. No,
thank you.
What about have you ever had a banana Laffy Taffy? Like that kind of flavor? Like the candy banana?
I guess so. I think to me, I think that's the same thing as runts. So bananas, maybe a banana starburst. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure I've had banana in candy form of some sort, just like a starburst. But again, it's not. I don't think I like it in candy form. I love it again, like banana pudding, banana bread, that's delicious. Even banana milk, it's kind of I know I've had that before too, like from Wawa or from Nesquik, the banana milk. That's they're all delicious, but banana flavored candy, nah, not a fan.
You guys ever see a tit on a banana?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Banana milk.
Oh, Corey, come on. Guys, man, I love frogs.
Guys, if you want to hear some great jokes just like that one, you can check me out at GameBro Corey everywhere. Just search it on Google. You'll find me. Twitch.tv, Instagram, Twitter. Those are the places. I should be streaming for the next couple days, but like I mentioned up front, I am going on vacation, so there will be a little bit of lull with nothing going on. You can always go check out the Level With Me YouTube account. We'll be having plenty more new episodes of No More Heroes as well as AM2R. And there's a plethora of other content you can find on there. The backlog of the podcasts, a full Luigi's Mansion 3 Let's Play, a full Metroid Zero Mission Let's Play, a full Super Mario World Let's Play. There's a lot of good content on there. Go check it out.
So much good content.
I honestly, I think that's all though. What do you got to say, Mike? Where are you gonna be?
Well, if you guys ever want to find me, you'll find me at the grocery store. I'll be checking out the bananas just to find a good one. If I'm lucky, I'll find a banana.
Watch out for those banana spiders.
Oh God, I know we've talked about this before. Please don't remind me.
That.
Yeah. Do not remind me about that. Oh God,
that's a PSA. Everyone should watch out for banana spiders.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's terrifying. It's a terrifying thing, but it's real. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh. I gotta change the subject quickly. But yeah, if you guys ever want to find me, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram, and it's at the Collector's Vault. Yeah, my name is Mike. You'll find we'll have everything linked down below. If you guys like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, collectibles in general, collectible cards, sports memorabilia, anything like that, please come check me out. If you guys have any questions about the the collectible card world, because right now it's going pretty bonkers. You know, I love to help you guys out. Please feel free to message me. I love to hear from you guys. I also have a couple just a couple like little funny jokes every now and again on Instagram. So yeah, come give me a follow. And definitely don't forget to follow Corey at his Twitch stream, because his Twitch streams are pretty darn fun, if I do see so myself.
Oh, well, thank you. We're getting close to 100 followers, 91, 9 more to go. Not too far away. Streaming a bunch of Fortnite and Smash.
There you go.
I've been considering playing something else. Once I max out that Fortnite Battle Pass, I might end up like throwing something else into the rotation. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I got nothing. How do we end this pod? What's the joke? What's the bit?
Besides Richard Nixon, what is the other president you would want to see in banana form?
Ooh, let's see.
I'm just saying, a banana Grover Cleveland would be pretty amazing.
I think a good Jimmy Carter, banana Jimmy Carter.
You just put two bananas on top of each other, and those could be his lips. Yeah, it's perfect. How about Banana Bush? Yeah.
Banana Ronald Reagan.
I'm trying to think of like clever names with banana.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down those walls. Is that Reagan?
Stop. Just stop. I'm just picturing him in banana form talking, and it made me laugh.
You guys can't do any of those drugs. Gotta make them all illegal. Gotta save the kids. And
well, sir, I really think you guys should eat some bananas. They're quite good for you. Isn't that right, Barbara?
God, now I'm just thinking of shaking a hand that's just made of banana. I don't like that. Ugh.
Donkey Kong, why do you like bananas so much? Ugh.
I'm gonna have nightmares about all these banana presidents. Wake up screaming, "The bananas! The bananas!"
What if there was ever like you know that one really weird cartoon called Salad Fingers? What if there was a version of him with banana fingers?
Yeah, I would probably run screaming and burn down my computer just to make sure I'd never have to see that atrocity again.
Same here.
Thank God Flash is dead, so it doesn't have to exist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing Newgrounds doesn't exist anymore.